So, nourishing for two, yourself and your gut microbiome. Now, hi, I used to be 320 pounds, and I had no idea you had to nourish your gut microbiome and your body. I didn't know.
Well, it's kind of one and the same, isn't it?
Well, yes. Well, actually, we had Dr. Hazan on. She's amazing. She's a gut microbiome expert. And she's done over like 600 clinical trials. It's incredible. She's incredible.
She's incredible.
I asked her this question. I was like, so is it possible that the gut microbiome is running us and we are not running our bodies? And she's like, yeah.
I mean, that is like when you think about that. And also when you really start to look into it, it's like, it's so profound. The amount of bacteria that live in your gut that we know and that we don't know, there's just so much information. It's like, people talk about it as if it's like a garden. Some people talk about it as if it's the constellations and the like stars in the sky. I mean, that's how profound the implications are of the large intestine, which is in your belly. And there's a lot of talk about, there's these sayings like, oh, I just felt like you hit me in the stomach, right? Or I have a sick stomach, which can be because you're nervous, anxious, tired, sick, or low on energy. Like we all know that that's the center of emotions. And that's where we get hit most, right? After a meal, we feel a certain way. And usually the feelings are in the gut. Right? So we know that there's this connection. Intuitively, our grandmothers taught us about it too. Well, maybe not yours because they died prematurely.
Obesity.
Yeah. Obesity was on the death certificate. Very sad. But you would have learned that from your grandmother if she had been alive.
So we want to know, how do we nourish our bodies and our gut microbiomes for optimal weight loss without loose skin?
What would you say?
Well, I would say that you should prioritize fiber and protein because that's the best way to lose weight, stay full, and nourish your gut microbiome. And when I was 320 pounds, I was eating sugar and flour. And they had that in everything. Like, you would be surprised. You'd be like, why do hot dogs have sugar or flour as the first ingredient? Why are you putting flour in my hot dogs? What are you doing, It's kind of weird. I'm kind of confused. But at this point, I know it's architecture.
No, it's also about business. It's about shelf life and about business. Like, how cheap can we make the food so we can increase our profits? And their profits are not aligned with your health. If you really want to get healthy food, you'll start to see how much more it costs to buy processed food that's healthy, because it costs a ton more. Like, it's almost unaffordable for companies. I know many companies that have gone out of business because they simply couldn't stay in business with maintaining the integrity of their ingredients. And it's really sad, but that's just the honest truth. And I'm hoping that's going to change with Kennedy being in office, as the head of the HHS. So we'll see how that all fleshes out. But when corporate greed and human health are in opposition, we have an issue. And so that's why you need to take responsibility for your health, and you need to start learning about how to make healthy food taste great. You need to learn about how to make healthy whole foods taste amazing. You need to learn how to turn your health around and how to optimize your energy and vitality and get into shape, get into your optimal weight. And so when we just back it up a little bit, for those of you who are listening who don't know what a gut microbiome is, or you don't know why you would need to eat fiber, there's two types of fiber. One is soluble and one is insoluble. And fiber is found in fruits and vegetables. You can take fiber like in psyllium husks, or you can find fiber as well in like nuts and seeds, and you can also take it like chia seeds are full of fiber. Flax seeds have a ton of fiber. Even almonds have fiber, walnuts have fiber. But you notice this list? I'm not saying Doritos. I'm not talking about steak. So it's really in fruits and vegetables. And that's what's so interesting, is that you also have these things called phytonutrients that are also in those foods. So these are foods that are healing for the body. And there's plenty of clinical research that outlines how phytonutrients reverse disease. There's even a whole department at the University of Oregon that's dedicated to the study of macronutrients and micronutrients and chemoprevention. That means not using chemotherapy, but using phytonutrients instead. It's mind-blowing. So this is not something I'm just making up. There's plenty of evidence and funding around programs to show the disease-reversing potentiality in phytonutrients. Now, we do have an issue with our soil these days because it has been over-farmed in the United States, and in turn, our food has less nutrients in it. So this is a big topic for the new administration, and I'm really hopeful that we'll see some changes in farming practices. But getting back to our own farming in our own body and our own gut microbiome, it is really essential that we start taking better care of the choices that we're making in the foods that we're deciding to buy and consume. And so if you don't know how to cook, it's not your fault, but it is time for you to get back in the kitchen and learn how to make some delicious foods.
And something I totally forgot about is that you guys are being scammed if you're buying probiotics, because I recently learned that they don't do anything. Like 99% of them aren't really tested in labs or third-party tested. A lot of them don't even have active cultures in them. And then if they do, they're actually killed by our like stomach acid
Yep.
because they're not strong enough, and they just, our bodies just eat it right up, and they don't even go into the gut microbiome.
Right.
So the best way to get natural probiotics is by natural foods. Who
Yes.
would have thought? So
Yes.
fermented foods, not like the sugary kinds, because there are some fermented foods that they add a lot of sugar to them.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Kombucha is one of them.
Yes. We don't really recommend kombucha.
Yeah, which a lot of people drink a lot. Poppy, people drink poppy. If you drink poppy or Olipop, this has a lot of sugar in it. And you may think you're doing yourself a favor, but I gained so much weight drinking poppy.
It was better than Coca-Cola.
It was, but put on a lot of weight. I
Just
put
take
on a lot
one
of weight.
step today, take another step
So
tomorrow.
hey, you can eat yogurt.
Yes, and naturally fermented sauerkraut. If you don't like it, too bad.
Drink kvass. I've been loving that. That's
Kvass. Yeah, that's
such a great one.
Russian tradition. These are healing traditions that have been used for thousands of years in every culture. Kimchi, miso, tempeh.
Natto. Ugh.
Yeah, well, natto is really nasty, but it's so good for you. You can mask it in certain sauces and dressings.
Have you done that yet?
No.
Okay. So
I mean, I have a little. And then miso, you don't want to heat these foods because the probiotics are so delicate. When they're heated, they die. So you want to be sure to make sure, like if you have miso soup, you don't want it to be boiling. You don't really want it over 100 degrees. We've been making our own yogurt lately, which we're really excited about. We'll share more about that with you as we perfect our methodology. But that's been a game changer for our household and even the households we've shared it with. So really excited to share that information with you as it becomes available.
So if you're a woman and you're ready to lose the weight and you want to nourish your gut microbiome and learn all the things, Mom and I have a women's accountability group, and we also have a gut microbiome course that you get with all of our other courses on how we lost the weight without loose skin and all this amazing things. So if you want all that, then click the link in the description, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you are eating fermented foods or you want to eat more fermented foods, comment down below. We'd love to hear what you're eating. We'll see you all the time.